Welcome to Icave Answers, where in this show we are talking about AirPods Max pricing, 32-bit apps running on Apple Silicon, what would Apple's Metaverse look like, Apple Glass replacing the iPhone, the HP iPod, chocolate versus sour candy, and some superhero stuff. So today's first question comes from Joe, and Joe asks, Icave Answers, should AirPods Max seek a permanent discount or not? One of the biggest complaints about AirPods Max has always been the pricing. They are expensive, they're $550. They are pretty much always on discount somewhere, so I don't think anyone should be paying $550. I don't even know if it's one that you can engrave, and if you can, should you? Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of engraving your Apple products. We've done it for my kids' iPads, but let's be honest, it's going to reduce the resale value if we want to get rid of it later on. But yes, as Apple does quite often when they enter a new category, and let's be honest, over-the-ear headphones is a new category for Apple, they always come in at a fairly steep price. When the original MacBook Air was released in 2008, I believe it was $17.99. It was a very premium product, and priced, I think, above not just the MacBooks, but also the MacBook Pros at the time. So I do think that the price should come down on these, but I don't think the way to do that is for Apple to kind of set a permanent discount on them. I don't think Apple is having problems in selling them. I think it's just a case of there was a huge amount of demand at the beginning. They didn't have as much product as they needed. I think they've caught up with that now. And I think Apple is happy for third parties to sell them at a bit of a discount, but they're never going to reduce them on their own site, I don't think, for this generation, unless they keep selling them alongside a new version, which I don't see happening. Basically, no, I don't think they need to have like a formal permanent discount, but you can always find them cheaper than Apple retails them for. Next up, Team Kinetix asks, Icave Answers, do you think that Apple ditched support for 32-bit apps on macOS too early? Should they have supported older apps with some kind of backwards compatibility similar to Rosetta? Perhaps they expected more developers to update their software. Sadly, there's still lots of legacy software, especially games out there, that simply won't run on newer versions of macOS. This entire question is based on the sad fact that Bioshock Infinite 32-bit won't run on my new MacBook Pro. Well, first of all, I'm just going to play a tiny violin for you, Mr. Kinetix. I'm so sorry that your brand new awesome MacBook Pro won't play an old game. That out of the way. There may be hope for you yet. It has been the case that since macOS Catalina, Apple hasn't supported 64-bit apps on macOS, and the big reason for that is basically to get compatibility to the same place. If you also look at the iPhones, iPhones haven't supported 32-bit apps for quite some time either. I think it might have in fact been the same generation. There is a way around this for you, and it's not super simple, but what you can do is actually run an emulation of an older version of macOS on your MacBook Pro using something like QEMU or Parallels to run a copy of Mojave or older, which will run in virtualization, and you can run the game in that. So I will leave a link in the description. It's chronoKernel.github.io/Apple/silicon/2021/01/17/QEMU-as.html. Probably better to just click it though. And there is a guide on there that will talk you through how to do it all. I haven't tried it, I can't vouch for it, but apparently it works. Next up, Joe asks, Icave Answers, do you think that Apple would be better at the Metaverse than Meta? I think Facebook is a dystopian 1984 reality. And yes, I can't think of probably a worse company to be running a virtual reality place where we keep all of our things that we value than Facebook. So that's worrying. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting thing to see what different companies do with this, because I can't imagine that Facebook and Apple are going to play nicely in the VR space particularly well. I'm sure that they will be compatible, and you will be able to access Facebook's Metaverse on the Apple headsets, but I don't think that's the experience that most people are going to want with them. It does feel like a lot of the stuff that Apple's been doing over the past few years has been gearing up towards this virtual reality world with avatars. We have Memojis that have face capture, that have emotion capture, that are designed to look like us and could interact on our behalf in Apple's own metaverse. So we kind of already have our avatars in place. That's a good start. We've also got a lot of experience from Apple in terms of AR. in terms of LiDAR, in terms of placing objects within a space very accurately. So that's pretty awesome. We've also been trained in voice control with Siri and with the voice program for Siri for the Apple Music, which has just come out recently too. So I think all of these things are kind of lining up in order that Apple's version of the Metaverse can kind of run on its own. What they're going to do with it, I have no idea. But yes, I would definitely trust Apple more than Facebook with it. Thomas Rabenstein asks, Icave answers, I read an article in which it's assumed that Apple is already working on replacing the iPhone with a future product in the future, namely Apple Glass. According to the article, the wearable will not only be a pure display device, but also serve for communication and make smartphones obsolete. What do you think about it? I 100% think that Apple is intending to replace the iPhone with glasses or some sort of wearable. How it will work, I don't know yet. I didn't expect that it would only be a display device. I very much thought it would be something you interact with. I'm not sure whether it will be through gestures that you make, perhaps that an Apple Watch is picking up on. I don't know whether it will be primarily voice activated. There have been patents already placed by Apple for facial movement control, so blinking, twitching your cheek, all that sort of thing to select stuff. We're all going to look pretty mental while we're wearing these things, but I absolutely think that this is where Apple is going, and yes, it will be what you do the majority of your stuff with. You'll be able to have picture-in-picture stuff going on in the bottom corner, so you can watch YouTube videos as you walk down the street and still be able to see where you're going. You're not going to crash into stuff. So yeah, I think this is probably the way that Apple's going, and it's going to keep us more connected. There's a lot of people that want to be able to unplug those, so just depends how easy it is to do your focus modes and do not disturb. Perhaps that's the other reason that we've got those that we're getting used to as well. And next, Alan B Unboxings and News asks several questions. Icave answers, what do you think about Apple and HP's collaboration iPod? What do you think about the HP Omen and Acer Predator Helium gaming laptops? Do you prefer chocolate or the world's sourest apple in the world? And would you rather be Spider-Man or Black Spider-Man like Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland, or be the Iron Spider? So for our final questions, let's take them super quickly. HP collaboration iPod, it was basically just an iPod with HP branding on it and sold through HP. It's not a massive deal, it was just an iPod. As far as I know, there was very little interesting about it. It didn't really do anything different from any other iPod. What do I think about the HP Omen and Acer Predator Helium gaming laptops? I think nothing about them because I don't care about gaming laptops. I honestly spend so little time looking at PC stuff that it's untrue. The only channel I really look at is Linus Tech Tips, because he tends to have some interesting takes on stuff. On the food thing, chocolate or the world's sourest apple? I love me some sour, and I'm not a massive chocolate fan, but I don't know. Is it a pleasant sour apple? If it is, I'll go for that. And Spider-Man or Black Spider-Man or Tobey Maguire, like Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland, or Iron Spider? I mean, it's got to be Iron Spider all day long because you get Tony Stark tech and you get all the other stuff. Like, yeah, Iron Spider's cool. Definitely Iron Spider. So that's it for this video. Don't forget, you can check out our main show where we cover all the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours every weekday at 1300 UTC. And don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss future shows. If you want to ask a question, #IcaveAnswers down in the comments section and you'll get an answer.